about exercise, activity for the body. I can do that. Okay, so a little bit about me. I started when I was 7 years old, and my dad from China got me into martial arts, and I started with martial arts at 7. And then by the time I was 15 years old, I discovered a dumbbell. It was just one of those old little, I don't even know what they're called. The little short rod with the, dumbbells that slide in and out. They're just really old. And I found that, and I started playing with that, and that's how I started enjoying strength training, was when I was 15. And then after that, fast forward, I got married, had a child, got really fat. I got about 38% body fat, and I decided, God, my body was square, it was time to make a change, and I decided, okay, I need a goal. So I went to a bodybuilding competition to take a look and see, okay, I find one that I want to compete in. So I found one. It was called Muscle Mania down in Redondo Beach, but it was the world competition. I just went straight to the top. But I got down to 6% body fat. Wow. And I competed, so I did very well. It was not bad. So I really went from, having the marriage and getting fat from after having a child from 38% body fat down to 6%. So when you get into this drastic weight loss, and that was the issue with a lot of people and with me, I have found that this weight loss really messes with your metabolism. So now I'm no longer about bodybuilding, now I'm more about health and fitness. Is that you? Yeah, that was me. That's me. I don't know if you can really see it.
Long hair.
Big muscles.
It was actually a lot bigger than that. So what is fitness? Well, it's a general state of how you feel. It's all about your cardiovascular, it's all about your muscle, it's about flexibility, it's all about your wellness. That all encompasses together. Posture. So we all know about posture. When we were young, we were always told to stand up straight. And you really want to think about your posture. Your ears are right over the acromion of your shoulders right in line with your hip joint right in line with your knees right over your ankle. That is the alignment that you want, even when you're sitting.
Yes, we also need to adjust them.
So now I'm going to talk about leg exercises. Now, does anyone have any questions about leg exercises? Does anyone here go to the gym? Okay, one of the exercises that's most popular is the squat, the famous squat. A lot of people will lean forward when they do the squat, and you really got to think about your alignment when doing this. See, this is why I wanted the projector, so you could see.
That's okay.
As I talk about the posturing. But the squat, you want to make sure that when you're doing a squat, a lot of people will do this, and this is when you use your back a lot. You really want to stand straight. You could put your arms out, and you could just kind of sit. Oops. Oh, I'm sitting. And then just sit, and that's the proper squat. Now we have a stiff leg deadlift. You could do this with a barbell right over your shoulders. You could do it with a dumbbell, or you could do it with no weight at all. And when you're doing that, I'm going to do a demo. A lot of times people will do this and they round out their back when they do this, and they end up pulling with their low back. And that's not what you want to do. You actually want to keep the curvature of your back, which is called the neutral spine, and you just want to be able to just bend forward. And as you bend forward, your weight is distributed out in the front. You tighten up through the hamstrings, you tighten up through your glutes, and you pull from here as you come up. That is the proper lift. A lot of people won't think of that, because a lot of people will do it right from their back.
You look difficult without even holding weights.
Now, people who can't do a squat, you can modify it by doing it against the wall or on the ball. And that is also difficult to do. And you will feel a lot of the tension right through your quadriceps. You have the calf raise, where you could actually just do it out on the curb and just put the ball of your feet right on the curb. Lower your heels all the way down as much as you can. any questions on legs? Now, we have the people who go out there and they cycle, right? So you gotta make sure that you're keeping your posture as you're pedaling through, especially when you're mountain climbing and as you're going down. Core, everybody's favorite. Everybody thinks the core is the abdominals. It's not all abdominals. The core is actually everything from here to here. That is your core. Now, the core helps support your upper body. You think about anybody who does golf?
Sometimes.
Yeah, your straight comes from here when you golf, right? Same thing with cycling. When you go out there and mountain bike, you gotta make sure you're stable through the center, otherwise your arms and legs will be all over the place.
And they
So
are.
pardon me?
And they are.
Especially when you fly off, right?
Right.
So here, these are the beginner exercises where you have a plank. You could do an abdominal curl on a ball. Can you guys see back there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
And this is actually something you could do on the floor, but that's actually a Pilates machine. And you just do a curl. And when you do a curl, you know, don't throw your head up and just be having a forward head motion. You don't want that. You want to tuck your chin in, engage the abs, and then lift. So it's like you're picking up your body, not picking up your head.
Like the same for a crunch,
Same with the crunch.
because my neck hurts now.
So you're probably curling with your head and not with your abs. Okay, these are more of the intermediate exercises. You have a side plank where you actually set your feet on the floor, you're resting on your forearm, and then you pull the center of your body up. Okay? And you could do this on the ball where you're supported by the ball, or you could do it without the ball. And here what he's doing, he's keeping both arms and one leg on the floor and lifting one leg. And then, as you get more daring, you lift the opposite arm. So if you were here like this, you're gonna lift one leg and the opposite arm. And you try to make sure that you stay stabilized.
With the guys on the ball, that's more my style. Just lay it on the ball.
Preferably without the ball. Beginners use the ball. Okay, and now this one is my favorite. I used to do a lot of leg lifts. And as you get more advanced, when you're on a bar, you're holding onto the bar, you engage your lats to stabilize your whole body. So the whole upper body from your hips on up does not move, but you want to keep the free motion through the hips, keeping the joints open to do leg circles, leg lifts, zigzags, whatever you want to do with your legs. That's really good for your lower abdominals. You're giving me that look.
Oh, no, I'm soaking it in.
But yeah, doing the leg lifts, this way you're more focused on doing your abdominals, but yet you're stabilizing through your upper body. You have to use your lats to stabilize. Lats are these muscles here, it's your back muscle. And here, you have the ball, you're on the floor, and you bring your arms and legs up to take the ball, and then you transfer it back and forth between your legs, your ankles, and your arms, and curling up. Now, the one thing that I will advise, do you guys see anything wrong in this picture?
Take the cup out of there.
Yeah, the cup is a little distracting right there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Her outfit doesn't match.
Okay.
She's using her cup.
No? You don't see
It's
anything?
like fun.
Well, it's actually a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay, what it is the center picture.
Oh, yeah,
Her knees are
knees
beyond
straight
her
ahead.
hips.
Yeah.
So in other words, her upper body is not curled up enough to pick up the ball. So she's bringing the ball down to her instead of picking herself up to get it. So don't cheat yourself. Because basically that's what you're doing. If you make it easy for yourself, you're cheating yourself. Your body will only adapt to what you give it. So if you notice, the more you move, the more energy you have. The less you move, less energy you have. And this exercise here, this is very hard, is where you try to sit up and just balance on your hips. It's very good for you. However, if your back is it's not very strong, don't do it, because it will hurt your back. Back exercises, okay. This is called your lat pull down. This is very common in the gym. People will go up to the bar. There's different apparatuses that you can use. There's the V handle, there's the wide handle, there's the short handles. You could do it underhand, you could do it overhand, you know, there's many ways to do it. They also have the bars, you know, they're the pull-up bars. You could do a pull-up. I don't have a picture of it here. Underhand pull-up. You could do an overhand grip and do pull-ups. Those are really great exercises for your back to make it more challenging. Make it more challenged is to add a dumbbell between your legs. There was a time when I really had a hard time getting past 3 pull-ups with my own body weight. And then I decided, okay, I had to get aggressive. And I would put a dumbbell between my knees, and I used a 25-pound dumbbell. And I still did 3. I didn't get it because you did my own body weight with 3 reps at a 25-pound dumbbell and still did 3 reps. But after doing that for a couple of months, I no longer used the dumbbell and I did 15 with my own body weight. So there's a way of getting yourself past a certain point. Now what he's doing here is a row. You're holding onto a dumbbell. You could use a cable. You could use rubber bands, and you pull. And when you pull, I don't want to see this. You know, the chest is caved in. Your arms are being pulled back. That's not what you want. You want that posture again, just like the first slide. I talked about this posture. You keep your chest up. You pull your arms all the way back. You want the shoulder to come back as well, just beyond your earlobe. And then you're squeezing through the scapula of your back, the shoulder blades. So that way you're working the whole upper back. Now, doing the cable pull down, this is wrong. Do never pull it behind your head. I don't know if any of you do, but don't. Because what happens if you look from my side profile, this versus this. Do you see what happens there? So when you pull, you're pulling it and you're pulling your chest up and you're really engaging the lat muscles, the back muscles, shoulder muscles. But when you pull behind you, you're pulling your head forward and you're actually compromising the shoulder joint. Another one is lying down on the floor and you're lifting your legs and your arms up back behind you. So you're working the spinal erectors. Those are the muscles along the spine. And the one thing you have to remember is that the muscles actually hold your spine together. They hold everything together. So having well-developed muscles actually helps improve your life as you're aging. Because the thing is that if you don't have muscle, well, one thing, I'll say this ahead of time. Muscle does dictate your metabolism. If you don't have muscle, just think of what you're going to be like when you get older. You just kind of fall apart, especially when you start to have osteoporosis in your bones. Okay, chest. The old famous push-ups. One of the things about the push-up is that you want to make sure that if you're pretending I'm on the floor, you don't want your arms here, you want your arms out here, just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Because as you drop down to the floor, you want your elbows, your forearms at 90 degrees when you press. If my arms were too close, this is what happens. You're actually working your tricep. So you bring it out wide and push. Bring the chest down to about 2 inches from the floor, or even touch the floor if you're doing a push-up. If you're doing a barbell press, same thing, 2 inches from your chest. And make sure that your wrist or the barbell is right across the line of your chest, not across the collarbone, and definitely not over your chin. This is more advanced for us females. You can shift your weight up onto a ball. It works your upper body more. Females have a tendency to be weaker in doing chest work, upper body work, basically. Here, can you tell me what she's doing here after what I just mentioned? It's actually okay to lean forward. It is okay to lean forward. But look at the placement of her arms. not too wide. It's too high.
Oh,
So-
okay,
Yeah, so if you do a press, if you bring your arms up, and just, if you guys feel like it, if you bring your arms up, think of where your muscles start to engage as you bring your arms up. Where does your chest muscle engage? That's your point. That's where you need to start lifting. When you're lifting, you're doing your dumbbell press, barbell press, push-ups, this is where your arms should be. Not here, not down here. So that's how you find your point, where your arms should be. Never go based on going to the gym, getting on a machine, oh, it's number 3, that's where I need to be. No.
Can you go back one?
Sure.
There's a
Yeah.
belt, like.
Oh, I'm sorry,
So the
yes.
back's not straight.
Okay. Yeah, you got that about right. Her scapula is caved in. So when you're doing, I can't do anything here, but when you're doing a push-up, the scapula, can I use somebody? Anybody? You?
Little man.
Gary, sign the waiver quick.
Bigger shoe.
Hard bell?
Your scapula here, this is your shoulder blades, okay? The thing you don't want, okay, take your arms up as if you were gonna do a push-up. Yeah. These are your lats here. You want to keep your lats really wide when you're pushing up and down off the floor. What happens is that when the arms come back, see how this is what you don't want. You don't want that to cave in. You gotta keep it wide, keep this open.
Oh, it's gonna go, okay.
Yeah, you don't wanna shrink down your rhomboids, so if you pull that in, that's what you don't wanna do. You wanna keep it wide open. So the only way to do that is by engaging the lats. And that's hard for a lot of people to do, because a lot of people don't know how to engage the lats. Okay, shoulders. Do we have time? Yeah. The basic shoulder exercises people do are your shoulder presses. They grab the dumbbells, they do shoulder presses. And that's actually a very good exercise, just don't overdo it. And again, it's a matter of finding your angle. Don't go too far back, don't go too far forward. Just find that right spot where your arms will not hurt. Because you don't want to compromise your rotator cuff too. And that really comes from doing your dumbbell flies or pec flies, whatever machine that you use when you open up. Lateral raises are a good one. And this is another form of a lateral raise where you're doing it on a cable machine. You're actually just pulling up. And here, you got your front delt. You're pulling straight up again. If you're doing your exercises at home, you're holding on to dumbbells. When you pull them up, don't keep your arms straight and pull up. So if this is straight like here, keep a slight bend in your elbows and make sure your point of pulling is from here. So when you're pulling up, this is what it looks like when you're pulling as you lift. So it's right in the shoulder. Do not activate your traps. Shoulders only. Because you'll see a lot of this going on versus this. And again, you have to use your lats, pull your shoulders down, work the shoulders only. Did I say that right? You guys got that right?
Yeah.
Triceps, the back of the arms, especially as females. You know how we always talk about, oh gosh, I'm so flabby here. So we don't want that. So one of the things that we definitely have to do as females is think of pulling down from the elbow point. So when you pull down, and even if you don't use any weight, that's okay. You don't even need to use weight. It's knowing how to flex the muscle, and that will exercise it. So as you push down, and even just use your fingers and touch it, and see if you're activating the muscle. Because that's the main thing you want to do, is just be able to activate the muscle. You don't even have to go to the gym. Save yourself a few bucks, or save yourself from seeing everyone. Or come see me. This one here is called the skull crusher, and you could probably figure out why, but it's actually, the correct name for it is the French press. there is a secret to this exercise if you were using dumbbells, lying down. And if I was lying down on a bench, just pretend I'm on a bench, this is what the movement would normally look like. Now, to add a little bit more to it, bring the arms back further, where your elbow is right about your forehead, and take it back behind your head and press up. That gives you a little bit more of a challenge. Last one, biceps. That's very basic. All you do is curl. Just find different ways of curling. Use dumbbells, barbells, water jugs, whatever it may be. But the one thing that you want to make sure of is when you do a bicep curl, aim for your shoulder, not for your chin, not for your ears. Aim for the shoulder, and do not allow the arm to come up when you curl. Focus on stabilizing the arm, curl. Whether it's here, 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 it doesn't matter, stabilize the arm. Point of movement is from the elbow. And I'll just show this picture here. Why stretch? We all need to stretch. We're contracting our muscles, we gotta lengthen our muscle. And I'm done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.